Yesterday in a jailhouse interview, Rebecca Haro doubles down on her story about an alleged attacker kidnapping baby Emmanuel and knocking her out. Jake Haro leads investigators to a possible location of baby Emmanuel's remains. However, investigators come up empty. And the Haro House of Horrors has been broken into by people offering tours around the property? Stay tuned as we unpack the latest details in the case of missing 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro. Shout out to the Rugerverse and all of my superstars. It is your boy Reek Ruger, and just as we predicted, Jake Haro has already begun the process of rolling on his co-defendant and wife, Rebecca Haro. If you are a member of this community, then this news should not have taken you by surprise, because 32-year-old narcissist Jake Haro is all about self-preservation. And although we've encouraged his wife, Rebecca Haro, to cooperate with police, she instead did an interview doubling down on the story of an alleged kidnapper that we now know to be a bag of BS. She also expressed how great of a father Jake is and how he would never hurt a child. Right. Something I know, you know, and she knows is untrue. Meanwhile, Jake was leading investigators to a site in which we believe to be the place where Jake and Rebecca disposed of Emmanuel Haro's remains. The Riverside County inmate was spotted with police searching for any evidence of baby Emmanuel. However, no remnants of the child was found. Many believe this was another hoax orchestrated by Jake to further throw the police off of his tracks, but I want to know what you believe down in the comments below, and I'll give you my theory, because I don't believe that this was a hoax at all. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to help spread awareness and justice for Emmanuel Haro, as we hear a quick word from our sponsors. Every star in the sky reminds me of you, because even in the darkest of times, you still shine bright. Silence Breaker isn't just a shirt, it's a reminder that you have a story that deserves to be heard.
Their side.
Yeah, investigators believe that the 7-month-old is dead at this point, but his parents, Jake and Rebecca, are accused of his murder. Now here's a closer look at where today's search happened. This is along the 60 freeway near the Gilman Springs Road exit. Ultimately, the child, though, was not found.
Captured on cameras on the ground and in the air, murder suspect Jake Haro is seen this Sunday in a remote part of Riverside County, dressed in a brightly colored jail jumpsuit, assisting in a search for the remains of his missing baby, 7-month-old Emmanuel. Jake and his wife Rebecca are accused of killing their son. The case spans 2 counties, and San Bernardino County Sheriff's officials confirm their detectives conducted the search in Moreno Valley along the westbound shoulder of the 60 freeway near Gilman Springs Road. Cadaver dogs were part of the effort to bring another level of resolution to the mystery of what happened to the baby, yet the search ended with no results.
Okay, so despite Jake being a woman abuser and a baby beater, I want you to follow me on this one. I do believe that Jake is solely responsible for the unaliving of baby Emmanuel, and that Rebecca Haro is merely an accomplice. I do believe that she is guilty of aiding and abetting this fugitive and covering up this heinous crime that he committed. In my opinion, Jake acted alone, and Rebecca, whether under pressure or duress, played a major role in the disposal of baby Emmanuel's remains. I don't believe Jake has the ability to feel sympathy for anyone other than himself. And with that being said, he wasn't leading investigators to a possible location because he felt remorseful. No. Allegedly, Jake is trying to work out some sort of deal for himself, in which he won't have to face the fullest extent of the law, but possibly a lighter sentence. And if that is the case, then it would behoove him to be in full cooperation with the police at this point. Otherwise, I would think that the deal would be off the table. Nobody, no deal. I want you to ponder on this question for a moment. Is it possible that Jake Haro is the brains of this deadly operation? And although led by Jake, Rebecca Haro is the only one that knows the exact location of Emmanuel's remains? Would that explain why Jake was able to lead police to a generalized area, however he was unable to produce results? Stay with me because I believe we're onto something here. Eyewitnesses have reportedly seen Rebecca Haro doing a number of strange things alone leading up to the alleged abduction. Some of these strange activities include Rebecca donating baby clothes, the disposal of baby clothes. She was also witnessed at a hardware store attempting to buy a Sawzall. But what stands out the most to me is Rebecca was also seen around midnight walking through a construction site with a stroller. What if Rebecca knew that there was a possibility that Jake would roll on her? And as a last precaution, in order to protect herself, she never actually told Jake the real location. Some of you might say that Rebecca Haro is not that smart, but I encourage you not to judge a book by its cover. Because do remember, in 2018, when Rebecca's brother was charged with the murder of his girlfriend that he staged to look like a self-deletion, Grandma Mary was right there at the forefront of his case, defending his innocence and a possible advisor of how to stage the crime scene. Because no matter how big and bad a person is, a lot of times when people mess up, one of the first things that comes to mind is to call mom. And I find it quite odd that most of the family says they haven't seen Emmanuel Haro in over a month. And then you have Rebecca's ex-husband, Gomez Chavez. I know the two last name thing is weird, but I thought the same thing. Let's continue. He and many others claimed they didn't even know the baby existed. However, here we have Grandma Mary. She pops up out of nowhere. She's spending all this time now at the Haro House of Horrors, showing her concern as a loving grandma and even backing this crazy kidnapping story. Mind you, just as she did for her son in 2018 when she knew exactly what he did to his girlfriend, which has led us to believe that Grandma Mary knew what happened to Emmanuel Haro. She knew all along, and she was going with this narrative to protect her daughter. Seeing as how Grandma Mary has been through a similar situation before with her son, who's to say Rebecca is not under her advisory? And if Rebecca is the only one that knows the true location of baby Emmanuel, I'm willing to bet that there's one other person that knows as well. And if police are overlooking Grandma Mary as a suspect, I believe this is a big mistake and she should be brought in for questioning immediately. In a situation like this, where Jake and Rebecca may very well spend the rest of their lives in prison, and knowing that there's a strong possibility that Jake will eventually roll on Rebecca, I wouldn't rule out Grandma Mary's involvement just yet. Because even if Jake Haro did take police to the correct location, who's to say that the remains were not disturbed or moved? Time is of the essence, and the clock is ticking as the search for baby Emmanuel continues. Please hit the like button if you're enjoying this content and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Let's revisit the construction site theory. For what reason would a mother need to be walking through a construction site while no one is there at midnight? This very odd and suspicious sighting is hair-raising to say the least. Some still believe that Emmanuel is buried on the property of the Haro House of Horrors, but it is very unlikely because in most cases, killers like to distance themselves as far as possible from the remains. I do think it's very possible that evidence can be found in the field in which Jake led police to. However, with families stating that it had been over a month since they'd actually seen Emmanuel, we also have to take into account the elements such as heat and wildlife possibly destroying any evidence. But I strongly believe that the construction site is a lead that needs to be investigated further, because at this point there is no questioning the lengths this evil family is willing to go to evade the consequences of murdering their 7-month-old child. Even if that means laying Emmanuel Haro to rest under a slab of concrete at a construction site. Let me know how you feel in the comments down below. Please hit the like button to help spread awareness and aid in finding baby Emmanuel and bringing the people responsible to justice. If you also question Grandma Mary's involvement, click the video on the screen for more reasons why she should be a suspect.